Did we ever touch on, there was that story that came out, that super quick blurb that came out that was like, okay, if you look on Infinity War, the big guy with the hammer has like the
We did not talk about that in this. We talked about that, but we did not talk about it on the podcast.
So the hammer in Infinity War, the hammer guy in that first initial scene where they meet with Iron Man and whatever, and he takes Doctor Strange. Apparently, a screen cap showed that he has a Captain Marvel type uniform looking cloth hanging from his hammer. So that kind of, Easter egg makes me also wonder, are they gonna
bring Thanos' minions into this battle? Give them more screen time and see them go up against more people. Or maybe even see their origins.
A little bit at least,
How they get into, and maybe kind of hinting at how they may be able to defeat Thanos in the process.
Right.
The next film kind of giving us breadcrumbs. I didn't know that was
cool. And if nothing else, it's just a bit of history.
Foreshadowing.
If not foreshadowing, just it shows that there's some history between the characters, which is great.
They're all connected.
Right. I love the connectivity, and I was just marveling to myself when I was watching that trailer.
The trailer that we're talking about. Yes.
That their 10-year banner went up, and I'm like, man, 10 years. Look at this freaking universe. And I mean, I think about it all the time. What other kind of universes they have, like the James Bond universe, where they've had different actors play it, but it's a large universe, a lot of movies involved in whatever like that and whatever. But this is awesome that they brought all these directors together collaboratively to be able to make a cohesive universe. And then that movie Infinity War, having them all pitch in there and give their ideas, and this is where my character's coming from in this situation, kind of. It's just freaking awesome to see what they've done. It's and the question often comes up about superhero movie fatigue, but I'm like, man, they could keep this going forever. They've got endless stories. For these superheroes, man, they've got a back catalog of just thousands of issues and storylines and just great stuff. Just cool stuff. I love Marvel and I love the MCU. Sorry to get off on a tangent there. I apologize.
No, I wanted to do something here. According to that, I will say your fatigue, and I will raise you.
See your fatigue.
I will see you the 700 million gross Black Panther, 600 million gross Avengers. This is not even. This is just here. I mean, this there is no such thing as fatigue in this situation. They're making money. These films are still successful. I mean, as long as you're not Thor, it's great. Except for three.
Hey man, don't hate on no Ragnarok. Yeah.
But they've got some pretty impressive lines of films, and they've brought in a lot of money. So did DC. Don't knock them. They actually make money.
And even if the stories aren't that great, people are still going to see these movies. People still go out and watch movies.
Right.
Like, superhero movies have been here, and they will stay here for as long as people watch them, and people aren't going to stop watching them anytime soon.
It's hard to exactly pinpoint where the superhero movie was born, or where it started, and where it was a fad, or where it ended. Because I mean, as far back as old black and white Batman movies, the black and white Adventures of Superman television series with George Reeves, freaking, there's been superhero pop culture, saturating pop culture for a long time. It's just, at this point, we've gotten to a degree where it's there, like it or not, it's front and center.
It's just the people that were the ones that had always picked. I just imagine it's the people who are always like, comic books are for kids. Comic books are stupid.
Right.
That are the ones that are saying, I'm tired of seeing comic book movies. Well, don't see it.
Then you've got this whole generation of people that are now head honchos and in charge, that were brought up by comic books. And so they're making they're making this happen, whatever. And then they'll always, so long as the comic books are around and there's the large audience that they have, they're going to be able to keep reaping the benefits from it, and that's not a bad thing. I see superhero entertainment going on for a long time. I was thinking about it at least into the 20s.
Yeah, next decade, which is right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
I mean, and we've had it on the TV for my whole life.
Yeah.
It's been there. I mean, we had Flash, we had Lois and Clark, we had...
Yeah. And I was brought up by the Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
We had Smallville, we got the Arrowverse, even though it's terrible, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we got all these other universes, the Netflix on top
not
of
even
that.
just the live action, but animated TV shows have always been a part of my life.
That was my first introduction to a majority of a lot of these characters because of the animated shows.
A large percentage of comic book fans, I find that, a lot of the old X-Men cartoons and things like that, even the new X-Men, whatever, I can't remember what that show was called. It's like
Wolverine and the X-Men, or X-Men Evolution.
X-Men Evolution. That's what the wife had gained a lot of her comic book character knowledge from that show. She was a fan.
And that one was a gross change. So that was a different one compared to what we were used to in a lot of those main characters on that show. But it was still an interesting take. I recommend people at least check it out. Had a pretty badass ending. Like, what the fuck?
She was a Jubilee fan. the wife.
The wife.
Teen Titans is where I started getting, I think, into at least DC, because around me was constantly Marvel, obviously, but besides Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, the Trinity, but side characters, I love my Deathstroke and Slade, just Slade, Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Raven, those are my people. They always will be.
They've had Spidey cartoons since the 60s, or since, late 60s, 70s. He came around in the 60s, but
the Marvel shows in the 70s.
80s or 80s.
Superman, Batman had their shows.
Us kids that grew up in the 80s had the Super Friends and all of those variations. There were Incredible Hulk cartoons, the Fantastic Four, all sorts of stuff. So great cartoons, and then of course like I had mentioned, the Superman movies, and then the Batman movies. There's been a lot over the years, and it just continues to grow, and I'm not hating it.
No.
I don't think fatigue is a thing on these things.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain group that are just tired of seeing things because they feel like they're being shorted other films, and I'm going, no, just take a look at the content and realize it may feature a superhero, but this might be a heist film. This might be an adventure film. This might be a sci-fi film. We went to Guardians not knowing what the hell it was. Right. Turned out to be a sci-fi adventure film with a lot of heart. It was great.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't necessarily super. They had these people with extraordinary abilities, but it wasn't necessarily a superhero movie. It could have been thrown in the Alien universe, and it could have been something else. It could have been It just happened to exist within a Marvel comic book universe with super fantastic powers.
I know that there's a lot of
not even really is something negative. It's cool. Give us more of this.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of actors that feel that it's a niche market, that it's, and so there's going to be limited roles for prolific actors and stuff like that. Or not a lot, but there's certain groups of people within the acting community that feel, these are typecast roles. If you're not the part in the book, then you'll never get cast as it. But I mean, if nothing, Marvel's shown off that there's roles for everybody casting.
Same with DC with the idea of Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
possibly playing on Superman. We can do that.
And I mean, again with Justice League, Barry Allen, Ezra Miller as Barry Allen. That's not the Barry Allen that we see in the comic books. He's a completely different look to Barry Allen, but he is Barry Allen.
Same with Jason Momoa. He's not the typical pasty white guy. He was Polynesian, Samoan person. That's awesome. Yeah. Their characters have infinite possibilities, and
that makes more sense for Aquaman
Honestly, yeah, because they're a fish-based culture. It just was
Yeah.
perfect. I thought that was one of the best changes they did, and everybody was like,
Yeah.
they were against it. But no,
I
I
remember
think comic book is going to be around for a while.
I remember somebody when he got the role. Somebody was like, "Hey, you gonna learn to swim for your role?" And he's like, "I'm Hawaiian, bro." He's like,
what do you think I do all day? That's great.
But yeah, I comic book films are going to be around. People need to stop looking at them as so much as comic book films. We in the the pop culture, we understand their reference, where they came from, their origin. But these are films based on characters from a comic realm.
Yeah,
they are in their own. Even comic books, we pick up a Spider-Man. He's solving a mystery. He's solving crime. Batman solves mysteries.
Right.
Superman solves mysteries.
Yeah.
There's a lot of elements to it. It's like saying that everything in one genre, all Star Wars films aren't the same. We're getting different genres there, and as we get more, we're going to see different genres and different things. People just need to look at the actual content and go, hey, this looks like a heist film. Let's go see a heist film. It just happens to exist with heroes and people we know. Captain America's in this one. Cool. Adds a sense of intrigue there. It's like, cool. But sorry, it's not Denzel Washington. Who said he wants to play a Marvel role?
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing Denzel in that. It's becoming a good thing,
Yeah.
And now with the pop culture category, we're gonna probably see that a huge jump in these films. Like we got Valiant jumping into the game here soon.
Yeah, I mean that's
Image.
90% of the films that get on those
award
ceremonies, people want to watch them just because they were there. Like, oh, this was nominated. I'm gonna watch that because it was nominated, not because it looks like a good movie, Birdman, but because it was there. So that's basically all that I have for the that thing that we were just talking about.
It looks like
the Captain Marvel trailer.
Yeah, that one.
It looks like an interesting movie that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they end up doing with it.
For sure.
And how they tie it into the grander verse.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go next for the news this week in comics?
We'll go clockwise, I guess.
Okay. Does that make it me?
That is you.
That makes it me. Okay.
Now everyone knows in what order we said things.
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
Now we can be picked off one by one.
Oh.
We're gonna die. So.
Makes it more exciting.
I don't so much have news as I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of talk more about the DC Universe. The new online streaming service that DC launched last week.
Early?
On Batman Day.
Yeah.
What's really cool is that when they released it early for Android and PC, it kind of came out in the beta version. So if you had signed up, you would be able to get access to it. They had limited comics, basically, like the number one for most issues and most of the main runs of things. Their current month theme is Batman because of Batman Day, so they're doing a lot of Batman-related series.
No, excuse me for interjecting, but Batman Day was made a thing, a holiday, in honor of Batman's first appearance in Detective Comics.
Yes, in May of
2027.
No.
May of a year.
May of 1939.
That was right.
May of enter year here.
Yeah. I knew it was May.
Right.
It's September, like.
But yeah, that's it. Sorry, just to interject a little origin of the holiday.
Oh, that's cool. I was not aware of that until we looked it up just now.
Yeah.
We did look it up. We knew.
Me neither. I was under a different impression.
Till we magically asked the Wheel of Density, and it was all. The word choice is this. It was very confusing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the DC Universe. It's DCUniverse.com. They have an app on Android and iOS. I haven't tried the iOS. I've kind of pseudo tried the app. It's got its hiccups. But I think that's just early service type stuff.
I'm curious about the console availability, like we were.
The thing